The other one I wanted to talk about was the property cycle itself. So real estate, it has times where house prices are increasing rapidly, or other times when house prices are more static. Just be aware of that. This affects, to a certain degree, existing and new in the same way, but I want to talk about the situation where if you might have to do a forced sale. Let's just say you lose your job, you have a split up or something like that, and you need to put your house in the market. If we go into an economic downturn and you have just completed a house in a brand new suburb, now this is a risk. I didn't touch on it before, but when you go into a new estate, all the home buyers are going to be like you, okay? So they're all maybe couples buying their first home. They are stretched fairly tightly in terms of their finances. So if you lose your job and have to sell, chances are that those economic conditions are affecting a couple more people in your same street, and there's going to be multiple properties for sale at the same time. And when you have multiple brand new properties all competing for sale, the only real way they're going to differentiate themselves is by cutting their price. I'll contrast that with, in an economic downturn, in an existing suburb, you have a much more diverse range of owners. So you have a lot of maybe older people who have been in their homes for a long time, they've paid off their mortgage, they're not really paying attention to economic cycles, they're just staying in the neighborhood, and they're not going to be selling. So you actually have more stability in those older established suburbs. So just be aware of those things in the property cycle, where your personal finances are and those around you as well. Touching back on the capital growth, I mentioned before about the land component of properties with a larger block, the existing houses, versus the new properties on smaller blocks. Another aspect of that is that if you have new estates where there is a lot of housing being constructed and more coming on the market, generally you will find limited capital growth until that estate is fully completed and there's no more new homes coming on. Because look at it from the point of view of a buyer. You have a buyer, they're looking in your suburb, your brand new suburb, and they're thinking, should I build my own dream home or should I buy one? Okay? And so if there's new land coming on all the time, it's very easy for them to go and buy a lot and build their own home rather than purchase yours. And so there's not as strong buying demand. Also, let's just say that couple that are looking to buy a home, they decide, okay, we will buy an existing home in this new estate suburb. Your home was new, but every week there's more new homes being constructed that are slightly newer than yours. So again, your price growth is going to be constrained until that suburb is completed. So just be cautious of that. I also wanted to talk about the business risks involved with constructing a new home. So when you buy existing, you are getting the house and it is all there. When you are building, you've got two risks there. One is the developer of the overall estate. So you need them to follow through with all of their promised infrastructure and amenities. Now, developers, like any business, they generally will come through with what they've promised, but there may be delays and some of them may experience financial failure. If that occurs, then your entire estate will be in limbo until someone else takes over ownership and then follows through. So just be aware there's an element of risk, and all of the nice designs and pictures in the glossy brochures may not come through exactly like that in real life. The same with your builders. So most builders are strong and good and you will get your home at the end of the day, but be aware that occasionally builders do have financial difficulties, and if you are one of the houses under construction when that occurs, you will have some problems. So be aware of those risks. Probably the best solution there, if you are constructing new, is to select carefully your developer and your builder and then monitor that process to stay in control at all times. What I'm going to finish off on is a method whereby you can combine the best of both worlds. So the advantages of constructing new versus buying an existing home. And the technique with this is to buy somebody else's brand new home. Now think about these estates where there's new houses being built. They're concentrated in the mortgage belt. They're full of first home buyers. These buyers fell in love with the idea of their dream home, and so they have pushed themselves to their financial limits to achieve it. Then, once they move into their new home, perhaps if there's a broader economic downturn, they find that they cannot afford the payments anymore. And what you'll see on occasion, depending on the property cycle, is a flood of sales in these mortgage-built suburbs of newly constructed homes. What to look for? Go for a drive into the suburbs. As you drive around, you might notice some properties where there's sand in the front yard, the driveway's not completed, there's no letterbox, or the giveaway sign of foil on the windows, no blinds. Then when you go and have a look inside the house, there's possibly no floor coverings and no paint on the walls. That's the kind of house that you're looking for, and if there's a for sale sign on one of those, investigate it closely. What you'll be able to do is to fast forward that entire design and construction process and purchase a new home. When you buy that home, you're probably going to only need to spend around $10,000 to complete the landscaping, to finish the painting and internal fit out, and then move in and it's yours. If you organize beforehand your tradespeople, your materials, and have everything ready to go for settlement, we're looking at only a very brief time frame, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before everything is completed and the property is ready for renting or moving in. Now, I work with clients who do this sort of technique, so if you want to talk to me with more details about purchasing existing homes or near new homes, about renting out and finding tenants for these properties, or maybe buying your first home, contact me, Adam Bettison, at HouseSmart, and we can do something.